Hi everyone, it's Chris. Welcome to my channel, and today we're going to talk about how to be a productivity master. As you may know, I run firmsconsulting.com. I run businesses that are related to firms consulting. We are also investing in other businesses with partners. So there's a lot going on. Before firms consulting, I was a management consultant and a banker. I did an MBA. I studied and worked at the same time. I studied and managed the business at the same time. So I know what it is like to have multiple demands on your time and how hard it is to find time for everything that you have obligation to attend to. So let me share with you some ideas on how I keep my life organized and productive so I can take care of the most important things. Idea number one is do not rely on your brain to store information. So I use Notion, OneNote, and Evernote. I use Notion for project management. Notion has an amazing way to have your project lined up, and then you can move different tasks as you are progressing through your workflow. So for example, for video production, I have different categories. So for example, script under development, ready for filming, with editor, with Chris. This is when I go through the edit and make final editing changes before exporting the video, and so on. And it all starts actually with ideas, and even before ideas, I have some other category where I put together certain ideas that I'm not sure yet even if I will consider them. Capture ideas and knowledge as soon as possible. So you probably have noticed that sometimes you come up with ideas and then you cannot remember what the idea was. So it is important to have a way to capture your notes. So for example, if you use Evernote, you can actually use your phone to capture your idea as soon as you think about it. And for other places, you can think through. So for example, in the shower, you can have a notebook just for the shower, or you can have a notebook right outside the shower so that as soon as you came out, you write down what you thought about. For a car, you can write down things as soon as you stop driving. You can go into your phone and put your information in the Evernote, and make sure that at the end of the day, you transfer everything into your phone. So for example, when I read books, the way I started reading books, the way I like now reading books, is I actually have my actual physical notebook with me, and then at the end of the day I transfer it as book notes for that particular book. So it's a little bit of trial and error to see what works for you, but I think that the key is to have a central location where you keep your knowledge, central location which you use for project management, central location that you use for to-do list. And then throughout the day, you can capture information in other places that are convenient for that particular moment, and then transfer it to the location, to the final location where you want it to end up. Now, when capturing an idea, try to assign it to a particular project rather than to a category like marketing or public speaking. Because when you just put things under broad categories, you end up with a lot of interesting things there. And yes, it is useful to go through it once in a while, especially, for example, if you're working on something related to that topic. So let's say if you need to write a blog post on marketing ideas, online marketing ideas. If you have a category for online marketing, you can go through it, find a couple of ideas that resonate with you the most at this point in time, and then put together a blog post. But then if you take ideas and put it under a particular project, it will be much more focused, and it will help you move along particular projects that you are working on. And this way you will be populating different projects over time. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about today is that you need to always assume that you can improve. You must always know that what you are right now, the way you conduct your life right now, your productivity process that you follow can always improve, and always look for ways to improve it. And if something used to work for you in the past and stopped working for you, then find something else. It is kind of living, breathing thing. You have to constantly try new things, see what works. If something stops working, adjust it, try something else. And then over time, you will figure out the fundamentals of your productivity process, and then you will try out different things here and there to try to improve it. Number 3 is have backups. Be prepared when things run out so that it does not disrupt your work. So for example, whenever we record those large, huge programs, for example, the programs we do with Bill Matasoni, with Kevin Coyne, we always have multiple cameras, multiple audio recordings, because you never know what can go wrong. Yes, sometimes you can have 2 audio recordings that go bad, and then the third one saves you. So for example, imagine that you have a talent that is using clip-on mic, and there was something wrong done when the mic was clipped on, that it was touching the clothes the entire time. And then at the end of the day, unless you have someone carefully and diligently listening to what is going on, you will not know that there was this sound the entire time, and the audio is basically unusable. But then if you had a third thing, the kind of a backup for backup, which was a boom mic, which is not the one that you clip on, but the one that is kind of away from the speaker, then you will have a backup audio that you can actually use. And that happened to us. The same thing goes for supplies. So for example, imagine if you are working from home. Now many of us working from home. Make sure that you have enough supplies so you don't have to go and disrupt your workday by having to go to a grocery store and buy water or buy something to eat because you literally have nothing to eat in the house. If you're recording videos, make sure that you have enough SD cards as backups in case something goes wrong or you need more extra SD cards. If you are a writer and you write books by hand and then transfer to a computer, make sure that you actually have enough supplies, enough pens, enough notebooks, because you don't want to run out of notebooks in the middle of very crucial scene in your book, and you have to stop writing when you have all this inspiration to write an amazing scene, and you have to go and buy a notebook or order it on Amazon and wait for it to arrive to your house. A phrase that people like to use is 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So basically, if you have only one audio recording during an important shoot, you're basically setting yourself up for failure, because if something goes wrong, you lost your entire work. If you have an important shoot, you have to have multiple cameras, at least 2, because if something goes wrong with one camera and things go wrong, sometimes the card doesn't record, something happens with the card and you cannot recover the footage, then you have another angle at least to have something to show for your work. And yes, usually when this happens, it's not ideal, but at least you have something that is still usable. Number 4 is the hardest thing is to start a task. So what I like to do is trick myself that I'm only going to work on something for 25 minutes. Remember Pomodoro? You're probably familiar with the Pomodoro principle, which I love, by the way. When you struggle to be productive, you literally just start setting your phone for 25 minutes at a time. You work for 25 minutes on some important task, then the alarm goes off, you rest for a few minutes, then you do another 25 minutes. It's a very, very good approach, but that's not what we're talking about now. What I'm talking about now is when you are struggling to force yourself to actually do the work on an important project that you have to get done. What I find helpful is just to tell myself, look, we're only going to work on it for 25 minutes. That's it. Then you can do whatever you need, whatever urgent stuff you have to attend to. For 25 minutes, please just focus on that thing. And that works. Usually what happens is you get into it and then you don't even want to take a break because you in the flow, things are moving, you're making progress. Number 5 is keep everything in its place. You don't want to live and work in chaos. Make sure your work environment is set up properly before starting. Make sure that it is set up properly after you finished. So when you come back, everything is neat and organized and you can start again being productive without getting distracted by disorganized work environment. Number 6 is simplify. If you don't use it, if you have not used it for months, consider donating it to somebody who will love it and use it and for whom it will be a treasure. So you may have things in your house like books that you're never going to read again because the first time you read them, it was a waste of time. But maybe for somebody, it will be a useful book. Donate it to a local library, donate it to a school, donate it to your neighbor if they like to read. Don't clutter your space with things you do not need or use. The simpler, the more minimalistic your space is, the easier it is for your mind to focus. So try to keep only things that bring you joy, only things that are useful, that are functional, or things that make you smile every time you see it. So for example, I just picked up this thing here. I'm in my bedroom right now, and this thing is under my TV. And obviously this is not functional, but this is called Cheburashka. It's a Russian little cartoon character that I loved, that means a lot to me from my childhood. And yes, he's not functional, but every time I see him, he makes me smile. So keep things in your house that make you smile, make you feel joy, and that are functional, that you actually use. If they neither functional nor bring you joy, then why do you have them? You also cannot have everything and be everything at the same time. You have to pick areas in your life that you care about, that are important to you, and give up areas that are less important to you, at least for a time. So for example, if you are currently working full-time and at the same time you are building your dream business, then you will have to give up other things that you used to like to do. Like maybe you had a hobby. Maybe you really like to get together with your friends on Saturday and Sunday and drink a lot of wine and eat a lot of food. But now you have to make a choice. What is important in your life, and you have to sacrifice certain areas in your life. Sacrifice not in a matter that you no longer helping your friends, you no longer are their friend, but you have to tell them, look, I really value our friendship, but now there's a period in my life where I have to focus on building my business. I hope you will understand and support me with this. And of course, you still have to spend some time with your friends, sometimes with your family. You cannot completely disregard the relationships in your life, but try to allocate your time in a way that is aligned with your priorities. So for example, we had a TCO candidate. TCO is the consulting offer program, and it is a program where we take actual candidates and we help them prepare for case interviews and then help them join major consulting firms like McKinsey, BCG, Bain, Deloitte, and so on. And we recently had a candidate, her name is Suzanne, and I was very disappointed. So she found a temporary job, which we recommended her to do. We helped her get that job so that she had more time to prepare for her case interviews. But then what happened once she found a job is she completely deprioritized her preparation for consulting interviews, and she would spend entire weekend on social activities. And when you do that, you already decided to fail, unless you have some phenomenal abilities. And most of us don't have phenomenal abilities. So you have to decide what is important to you. If it is socializing, then don't have some amazing dreams that require significant effort. Then you have to settle for average dreams and be happy. You cannot be everything and do everything at the same time. You have to select what is important to you, what is important in your life, what are your life's goals, life's mission, and focus on that. Number 8 is set up things that work for you. So for example, if it doesn't work for you to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, you feel exhausted the entire day, then don't wake up at 5:30 in the morning, even if you see extremely successful people waking up at 5:30 or earlier. Do what works for you, what works for your body, what allows you to have sufficient energy throughout the day to actually attend to important work. If you hate running, then don't run. Do some other kind of exercise. Maybe you like walks. So for example, I go for a walk every single evening. I go for a long walk, about 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours. I use it to think about the business, to make important decisions related to the business. I use it to think through problems that the business is facing. I also use it to think about personal things and make decisions in my personal life. So pick something that works for you. So those are some of the tips that help me to be more productive, and I hope it will help you to be more productive. Now, the danger many people face is to watch a lot of videos, read a lot of blog posts, read books, and don't implement everything. So what I am asking you to do is pick one or two things at least on this list that I shared with you today and implement it in your life today and implement it for an entire week and see if it will make a difference in your life. Until you start implementing what you are learning, you're not going to start seeing results. You may see some of the results because, for example, you may hear some incredible insight that Michael shared. Michael is one of the partners within Trans Consulting, and he teaches a lot of our programs, and he's incredibly insightful. So he may have shared some of the insights in one of the programs. You hear it and you kind of remembered it, and then you have a conversation with your boss and you mention something really smart that you heard from Michael, and that may lead to you getting promoted. So you may still get results, but for the most part, if you want to maximize results in your life, you need to be able to actually start implementing what you are learning. So continue to consume important, useful, helpful information, but at the same time, start actually actively using it in your life to start seeing better results. I hope you found it helpful. If this video was useful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. As you may know, I release new videos every single week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday in the morning at 7:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me know in the comments what is one productivity technique that you learned over the last 10 years that had the biggest impact in your life. I would love to hear that. Stay focused, stay productive, do good things for the world, and I'm looking forward to see you next time.